Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we're back with another mock draft video for you guys. Again, this is for redraft, and this is for a 12-man league, of course, based off of PPR. So we are now in the 4th spot in this mock draft series. Hopefully you guys have checked out the other picks, and of course, stay tuned. We'll be dropping, obviously, the rest to kind of hopefully help you guys kind of figure out where are some good players, where you're starting to see some players drop, get picked up, maybe fall, or of course being reached at pretty early. So typically in these drafts, I'm going to go over some suggestions of who I think should be going, reasons why, and then of course my strategies of what I normally do in my fantasy drafts to kind of help you guys become victorious this season. So let's jump right into this. I'm not going to go into it too much. We're going to go right into the first, which is going to be the 4th, like I said, 4th pick. So with that said, let's start the draft. Typically, you're going to see a tough outing. The 4th spot of a 12-man league, I think anywhere between 4 to 8 is really tough. Now, in this case, you see the 3 running backs go, Taylor, McCaffrey, Henry. Then you look at some of these guys like Eckler, Kupp, Jefferson, Cook. Now, normally I am a running back, but here's the, I guess, the exception. Between picks 4 and 7, or even 4 to 8, I am not crazy about picking up an Austin Eckler or reaching for a Dalvin Cook or Najee Harris. Now, you may want to go that route because, again, running backs are such a far and few between position, but I'm actually going to reach out and go to Justin Jefferson. Now, I picked Justin Jefferson over Cooper Kupp because I love the offensive scheme with O'Donnell in the Minnesota team. I think this is going to be his year to be number 1. He's been top 10 every single year. I just love the talent that Jefferson offers. Now, obviously, you're going to see a lot of running backs fall. You got Eckler, Cook, Mixon, Harris, some great options, Swift, who I absolutely love. So it is a little bit tougher, right? You look at the running backs left, you've got Javonte Williams, Aaron Jones. Again, being in redraft, you can get these guys and actually feel really good about it. So for me, I'm actually going to go Javonte Williams over Aaron Jones. It is a little bit of a reach, but again, reason why I'm going Javonte Williams, even with the fact that obviously Melvin Gordon's there, he is dealing with a foot injury. And of course, I do believe they're going to start really putting more emphasis on Javonte over Melvin. Now, looking at the rest of this team, I would love to go running back, and I may have to stretch and go after Ezekiel Elliott. I know a lot of people are kind of sleeping on him just due to the fact that obviously Tony Pollard looks really good. Ezekiel Elliott doesn't have the same burst and capability, but Ezekiel Elliott is a top 10 running back. He has been that way. No matter what performance he's performing, he is getting the red zone action. He's still getting receptions. He is a 1,000-yard back. I don't care what anybody says. He is a top 10 running back, which is why I'm going to pick him here because he is still going to perform. So I still feel pretty good. I've got a top tier wide receiver. I've got 2 really good running backs, and I didn't feel like I lost anything there. Now with this round here between 4 and 5, you start seeing some of the tight ends quarterbacks going, like you see Kittle, Waller. You already saw Patrick Mahomes and Herbert leave. I don't necessarily go to the quarterback position, and again, you can get a Lamar Jackson who's probably going to be top tier for you. And I may have to pick that just based off of what's here. But looking at these options here, I'm actually going to go to Courtland Sutton. If you guys have obviously watched these other videos, I have Sutton really high on my rankings this season. I believe he's going to be an absolutely stud for the Denver Broncos with Russell Wilson at quarterback. So I do feel really good about it. Now, again, quarterback, I like picking up a quarterback a little bit later. You see some really good quarterbacks you could probably pick up like a Dak Prescott, Matt Stafford, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins. Those are really top, I would say 12 to 10 spot that you can get a little bit later in the rounds and really fill out. So you look at what's options are available. I'm actually going to go tight end to fill the rest of my roster. I like Dalton Schultz. I like the offensive scheme that's going to be really available for him. A lot less weapons he has to compete with. He's got a quarterback who's going to throw him the ball. And it's a pass-heavy offense. If you look at the Dallas Cowboys, yes, they run the ball, obviously, with Ezekiel Elliott and Pollard, but they do love throwing the ball. And Dalton Schultz is going to see a lot more targets with Amari Cooper gone. So I actually like that pick, and getting him in the 5th round, I think, is a steal. Now in the 6th round, you're seeing, again, some really good depth at wide receiver. You're starting to see some of the lower-tiered running backs. This is kind of that dead zone. Between 4 and 6 is really the running back dead zone. So if you don't get them early, this is kind of where you're falling into that 0 running back stratus. For me, it's not something I'm going crazy for. But you still have some good options. I like Clyde Edwards. I think he's going to be the clear back for Kansas City, and it's a very high, potent offense. Obviously with other options like Jared McKinney, he's still there. Ronald Jones is on the cusp of probably getting cut. So again, Clyde Edwards really is the guy for Kansas City. I'm going to fill out the rest of my offense. Again, I'm looking at depth. You've got a wide receiver who's going to get a lot more targets than Rashod Bateman. Obviously, with Hollywood Brown gone, Rashod Bateman's going to really beam and really stand out. I like him a lot. You could even go after Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis is going to be one of those prime wide receivers this season, especially with that offense. He looked really good already in preseason. He doesn't look like he missed a beat from the end of last season. So you can go that route. And of course, you can do the handcuff route, right? You've got obviously Elliott. You can go Tony Pollard, right? You can go in that type of route. I actually am going to go Rashod Bateman. I think he's going to be in a really good offense. Even though they're going to run the ball a lot in Baltimore, he's still going to see a majority of the targets. Obviously, Mark Andrews is going to see targets. And then really the tight end Isaiah Likely looks really good. But I like Bateman a lot. He's going to see about 100 to 120 targets his way. Now, here, again, quarterback-wise, you can go into Dak, Trey Lance, Kirk, Derek. You can really get these guys. You look at these options. You got obviously Dak Prescott. You can go Chase Edwards. Chase Edmonds. I'm actually going to go Brandon Ayuk. I think Ayuk is going to be an absolute stud. If you guys watch any of the training camps, any of the preseasons, he looks really good. I could have gone Stevenson too. I think Stevenson is a really another strong suited running back that could fill your bye weeks, your flex spots. But I like Ayuk a little bit better. Dak Prescott's obviously gone. And then again, at this point, this is where you might have to start considering quarterback because, again, you've got players like Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, Trey Lance. These are who are available. I'm actually going to go Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr is in that offense is going to be phenomenal. He does a really good job of spreading the ball around. There's a lot of weapons for him this season. So I like Derek Carr. You can't go wrong with Kirk Cousins. I'm not crazy about Aaron Rodgers' weapons. Now, he'll probably still end up being a top 15 quarterback, but I don't really like that. Matthew Stafford, I like a lot, but they are concerned with his arm. They're making sure he's healthy before the season starts. That worries me a little bit. Now, the rest of this draft is really just filling depth, right? Now, normally, in a normal draft for myself, I'm looking at bye weeks. I'm looking at ways to make sure I'm filling those bye weeks. I'm handcuffing running backs if I need to, if they're available. So I start to go that route. And I look at backups. Obviously, you can go a backup tight end. I like Cole Kmet a lot. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to go that route. I think you can get a really good tight end a little bit later. I would still fill in like an Evan Ingram. I think you still do that and not feel like you just gave up a lot. So you look at some of these options. You got Pickens, Julio, Watson. I actually like Rondale Moore. I think he's going to be a sneaky play for you. He's going to be available probably later you probably get him in the 11th round as well. But I like him because, again, he's going to be heavily targeted in the first 6 weeks with obviously DeAndre Hopkins being out. And I think he's going to be someone who's really strong going forward, even with the rest of the season. Now, kickers are very popular here. You see Justin Tucker. You're going to start seeing more and more kickers. McPherson, obviously, is a really good option. You got some of the defensive teams if you guys are in that type of league. Obviously, there's individual defensive leagues. I've actually in several of those, and those are phenomenal. And that actually changes up this whole draft. But I'm actually not going to go this route. I'm going to, again, fill up. I need to start filling up some more running backs. So for here, I'm actually going to go NYHEIM Hines. I like this pick here. I think he's going to be a great option for a good backup. He's going to get a lot of receptions, I think, with Matt Ryan being there as well. They're going to use him a lot, especially on third downs. And really, just to spell like Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor was used a lot, and they're not going to obviously beat him up. So Hines is going to be a great option there. I like Rashad White and Algier as well. You can get those guys at a pretty good price point. And then again, I think I'm going to fill up a little bit of the tight end aspect. Now, Njoku, Fant, again, Evan Ingram, and Irv Smith are really good options. I think all of those guys are going to be really good. I like Irv Smith a lot. As long as he stays healthy, I think he's going to be a really good tight end. Not just this year, but also going forward. If you guys have watched any of my Dynasty rankings, Irv Smith I really like a lot. I think he's going to be phenomenal. I'm going to fill up another running back, and I'm going to go Rashad White. I think that offense is just too potent. You could also go Brian Robinson with obviously all the news going on with Washington Commanders and the fact that there's a good chance that McKissick and Brian Robinson are going to get a lot of the rushes and Gibson's kind of getting pushed to the side. I don't know if that's a ploy. There's a lot to kind of deep dive into that because Gibson has been pushed aside, but Gibson also was a wide receiver that was converted to a running back. So maybe they start using him like a Deebo Samuel. There's a good chance of that. So now I've got four I got 5 picks left after this. This is where you can start going to some of the kicker routes. If you guys really want a really good kicker like Brandon McManus who I like, who's going to be on a high offensive scoring team, who you absolutely want to be a part of. You can also go defensive, could obviously fill in. We've got obviously the Steelers, who are pretty good defense. The Browns actually a pretty good defense. You got some really good options there. You got obviously backup quarterbacks. Now, if you guys watched any of my videos, streaming a quarterback is definitely something I like. But I'm gonna, for just draft's sake, a good backup quarterback like a Jameis Winston to fill in bye weeks is a really good option. Jameis Winston, a lot of people forget, was actually QB6 before he got injured last year. He had 14 touchdowns. He was doing phenomenal. I think he learned a lot behind Drew Brees that I think is only going to benefit him going forward. He's going to obviously have Michael Thomas back. You've got obviously Kamara this season. You've got obviously Chris Olave. You've got some really good weapons for Winston. I have really, really high hopes for him. So I'm not sitting there and just letting him go. I think he's a really good backup. Defense, I'll probably pick up in the end. I actually like Alec Pierce, number 2 wide receiver. There's a lot of obviously speculation that it could possibly be, Paris Campbell. Health is a concern with him, but Alec Pierce might be a little sneaky play here. Again, he's a backup. I'm not overly concerned. I'm not looking like, oh man, I'm just screwed up. This is a depth piece. I'm not giving up a lot for that. Now, looking at running backs, you can also pick up some backup running backs here. Deontay Foreman, who's going to really fill in the RB2 role behind Christian McCaffrey, is a good pickup here. Darrell Williams is possibly getting cut, so that might not be a good play for you guys. You've got Chris Evans. You've got, obviously, Eno Benjamin for Arizona, who is a pretty good one. Dearness Johnson. So some really good options there. I actually like Deontay Foreman just because I hate to say it. Christian McCaffrey, there's a good chance he can get an injury. So you want to have a good running back to kind of fill that. And Deontay Foreman did a really good job filling in for Derrick Henry last season. And I think he'll actually do a pretty good job as the RB2. So I like him there. And of course, the last pick I've got to pick is defense, and I'll pick the Steelers. I think the Steelers are a really good defense. You got obviously the, defensive beast in TJ Watt. So I like him there. So that's my draft. So yeah, these are where I'm at here. I think these are some really good running backs. Great receivers, I feel really good, confident about. Good quarterback. And then again, a lot of great depth here. Obviously, we'll figure out the whole bye week situation there, but I think those are some really good options. So let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about that draft. If you're the 4th pick, do you agree with some of the picks? Would you have done anything differently? Let me know. If you guys haven't yet, check out obviously picks 1 through 3 if you're in any of those slots. And of course, stay tuned because we'll be obviously going up to the 12th spot for your mock drafts. If you guys do have any other questions, hit us up in the comments, or of course, you can follow us on our socials. Obviously, we're on Twitter and Instagram. Follow us there, ask away. Season is just about here. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and that notification bell is on. That way you guys are notified every time we drop a video just like this. And of course, hit the like button. It is greatly appreciated. Check out our mock drafts, check out our rankings, and I'll catch you guys out next time.